Let's bring in Ohio Congressman, ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, and author of Do What You Said You Would Do, Jim Jordan. He's right here in New York next to me. Good to see you.
Good to be with you,
Thank you for being here, Congressman. So how do you explain the mismanagement that's going on with this cabinet? I mean, good management begins with a strong team. If you can put up that list again of all of the members of the cabinet and what they have against it. I mean, there's so many instances of where each cabinet member has a mark against them.
They haven't done anything right. And frankly, if you were president and your vice president had a 28% approval rating, would you invite her to a cabinet meeting? I mean, I wouldn't either. So they've been wrong on everything. What was it? The energy secretary laughed at a fundamental question about, increasing production so we can bring down the price of gasoline and oil and heating oil and everything else. Pete Buttigieg took a 6, 8, 10 week, I don't know how long vacation.
Months.
Yeah, it was in the middle of I was in California 3 weeks ago. I saw the ships lined up all the way down the coast. We've never seen anything, certainly in our lifetime, we've never seen anything like that. So, yeah, everything they've touched has turned out to be a disaster.
Homeland Security, Mayorkas, the problem at the
border crisis.
You have A.G. Garland, the Attorney General, and sending the FBI and goon squads out to get parents. I mean, it's one after the other, an example of problems that are causing big blowback from the public.
Yeah. So there was a survey a week and a half ago. It said 79% of our fellow citizens think the country's on the wrong track. And my question is, who are the 29% who think it's on the right track? You look at everything. So it's frustrating. It's why the folks in Virginia did what they did last week. And I think in a year from now, the Republicans will be in control of the United States Congress.
Well, it's also a problem for the independent. I mean, the main problem, we know the Republicans and Democrats are pretty much sticking where they are, but the independents, 41% of the voting public are independents. And that 41%, I think he's lost at least 25% since his inauguration. President Biden has.
Turns out when you want to defund the police, that's not a good message. Turns out when you say government's smarter than parents don't really like that. Turns out when you go from a secure border to chaos. Turns out when you go from stable prices to record inflation, 30-year high. Turns out when you have energy independence and go to $3.50 gasoline. Turns out voters don't like that, independent voters in particular, and they're moving to the Republican category.
Well, and it's also a list of broken promises. There's a big list, and it's growing, by the way. We saw another one. We put together a little list of our own here. Inflation is transitory. We heard about that one. Obviously, it's not. Not going to leave Afghanistan until all Americans are out. Government won't mandate vaccines. That was reversed, and that's not turning out well at all, particularly with a labor shortage. The border is closed. Obviously not true. And the most recent one, won't raise taxes on the middle class. Apparently that's not true. As if not only are we having a tax in terms of inflation, but it seems like the president's plan also has a tax.
They're going to try to do it next week. They're going to try to raise taxes next. I told someone the other day, the Democrats' economic plan may be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's basically lock down your economy, spend like crazy, pay people not to work, and then for everyone who has been working, we're going to raise your taxes. Such a deal. So this is, again, what so frustrates the American people, because Joe Biden didn't campaign on this crazy stuff. He actually campaigned as the guy who was different than Bernie Sanders. He won the South Carolina primary based on that claim, and he's done anything but be that individual. He's been worse than Bernie Sanders with all his radical positions.
But he's been worse than his promises. I mean, he promised to do it. Say what you want about Donald Trump. He followed through on a lot of the promises he made. That displeased a lot of people in the country. But this president, I can't think of one thing that he has promised that he's actually delivered on. Maybe with the exception of no tweets.
Yeah. Well, you're right about President Trump, too. He did more of what he said he would do than any president, certainly in our lifetime. And Joe Biden, as you point out, the biggest one is this: inflation is transitory. Well, if it's transitory, it's sure been here a long time, and it keeps going up to now what is, we learned just the other day, a 30-year high.
Are you concerned about the prospect of price controls? We've had from Republicans and Democrats. Richard Nixon had price controls. It was a disaster, led to shortages.
Always a disaster.
Always it leads to shortages, leads to shortages. And if we have price controls right now, looks like in some areas of the economy they may be pushing for that, suggesting it's the private sector that's causing inflation, not the government. If we have shortages on top of the shortages we have now, we're going to have empty shelves.
I thought you raising that was very insightful. I mean, you're right. When they start talking about price gouging, a lot of times the left, and sometimes, even, as you point out, even President Nixon looked at this, they go to this price fixing, and it will, as you say, inevitably lead to shortages. But they don't seem to get basic economics. Never forget, the budget chairman, the Democrat budget chairman in the House, John Yarmuth, said, oh, no, we don't have a debt problem because we can just print money. I'm like, that's economics 101, man. You can't do that. So they don't get basic economics, or if they do, it's deliberate in this accelerated march to communism that the left is now on.
Well, you're not woke because it's the modern monetary theory that they're talking about. The MMT, which AOC's all big on and everything, you can print as much money as you want. It won't have any economic effect at all. There's some people in Congress that really believe that.
They do, but it does have an economic effect. Real wages are down. Real wages were up under President Trump for working class people, for American families. Real wages were up. Now real wages are down because of the inflationary tax that hits every single American.
We're talking about the cabinet, but there's another official who was nominated by the president to be controller of the currency, Amarova. And Miss Amarova has a background with the old Soviet Union. She got a Lenin Prize, and she has this plan. And we just had a video out of her that came out this week of her suggesting that we have to make oil and gas companies go bankrupt in order to help climate change. Clearly, this is a person who, rather than defending the free market, is doing everything she can to destroy it and has plans to do more of it if she gets that position. Are they going to stick by that nomination?
Well, she's not the only one who believes that, because last week in the committee, we had the CEOs of the big oil and gas companies in front of the Oversight Committee, and Ro Khanna, a Democrat member from California, went down and badgered every single one of them, said, will you pledge? Will you promise to decrease production? And I'm like, this is the craziest thing. I asked my colleague to yield me a few seconds. I said, decrease production, American oil companies, at the same time the President of the United States is begging OPEC to increase production. I said to him, I go, what do you want, $8 gasoline? This is how crazy the left is.
But she actually wants to nationalize private banks and use that power, use the economic power to drive these companies into bankruptcy and put millions of Americans out of work. That's what she stated as her intent is.
That's how radical they are. It started with the Keystone Pipeline. It continues with this. It continues with decreasing production and putting them all the way out of business. So hopefully she won't get confirmed.
I got to ask you, Congressman, about the Washington Post kind of reversing itself on the collusion hoax. And now, after the Durham indictment that we saw of the Russian, where it was indicated that in fact it was the Clinton campaign that was feeding this Russian bad information. It didn't come from Russia. It actually came from the Hillary campaign. Now the Washington Post wants to change some of the stories that are on record in order to illuminate people in terms of what's happened. Is this an anomaly? Do you think other news organizations might do that?
I doubt it, but we've seen two things in the last couple of weeks we never thought we'd see. We saw the National School Boards Association apologize for their letter that started that whole thing with Merrick Garland going after parents, and now we see the Washington Post basically correct a story from years ago. I'll be satisfied, I guess, when at least a little more satisfied when the New York Times does the same thing, and maybe they should give back their Pulitzer Prize as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the National School Board Association, and they did pull that part of the letter where they talked about domestic terrorism. But the FBI is still involved in some of this stuff. And one of the questions a lot of people have, K through 12 received $200 billion in COVID relief out of the 3 separate bills of COVID relief. $200 billion is a lot of money. Did any of that money, because teachers are actually, we have less teachers, we found out in the jobs figures last week, than we have in the months prior. Where is that money going? $200 billion. I'm wondering if any of it is going to organizations like the National Association of School Boards.
It wouldn't surprise me. This is something we should look into. It's what the proper oversight function of the Congress. So we should look into it. But you're right. Your instincts are probably right. Your gut tells you probably some of it did wind up in this crazy curriculum that says, this racist, hate America curriculum that parents were so upset about, and appropriately so.
Do you have staff members that are actually combing through, trying to find out where our tax money went in those bills?
Right now, we're focused on trying to get Merrick Garland to rescind the memo, to withdraw this memo that engaged 94 U.S. attorneys' districts around the country to put up this task force, including the National Security Division, which is the division of Justice Department that deals with domestic terrorism. Right. So this was really happening. We're really trying to focus on making sure he stops this. No more of this spying on parents. Right. Hopefully we can make that happen.
Well, I hope you have enough staff members, and if not, maybe the Heritage Foundation or somebody can go through those bills and see where the money's going. Yep. It's not going to the teachers, because you have more teachers quitting unless they're going on retirement. Congressman, great to see you in person again. It's been 10 years since I've seen you in person.
God bless.
All right, coming up.